When we think of acne, we tend to think of puberty and those teenage years, but acne actually affects 25% of all adult men and 50% of adult women at some point in their lives. So what are the most common causes and what are the best ways to treat and prevent it? Joining us now to explain is dermatologist Dr. Kavita Mariwala. Dr. Mariwala, great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So adult acne, there's something about it that seems particularly cruel. We thought all that was behind us.
I know. Actually, unfortunately, if you look at the epidemiologic statistics, it's on the rise.
Oh.
So expect to see more of your friends.
What's to account for the rise, for goodness sakes?
A couple of things. One, environmental pollutants. We know that the environment is getting more polluted with time, so that causes stress on our skin. Second is just stress in general. A lot of us are working, both men and women, as compared to 50 years ago, so the environmental workplace has something to do with it. And then also, people get resistant bacteria in their skin now because they had acne when they were teenagers, treated it with antibiotics, and then the acne followed them into adulthood. The bacteria got a little resistant to the medications and became harder to treat.
Oh my goodness, so it seems like just when you thought you had it beat, it can come back to haunt you.
And not only that, the acne when you're a teenager is in the central part of your face. And then as you get older, it starts to migrate out to the jawline. It gets a little more painful and you get bigger bumps. So,
oh no,
yeah.
We don't like that. Now, what are some things that we can do to avoid getting it in the first place?
So you want to follow a good skincare regimen, and we're going to go over some products that'll help people do that in an easy way that's not going to break the bank. But you want to make sure that you stick to the same routine, and you want to make sure that you account for changes in your skin. So what worked in your 20s isn't going to work in your 30s and 40s and 50s because your skin goes from oily to combination and then actually gets dry, believe it or not.
So at this stage in our lives, when we're hitting 30s and 40s, we actually have to worry about the oils in the products that we're using?
Yes.
Okay.
So some things to look out for, especially if you're somebody who goes to work and let's say you have to wear makeup every day, you want to look for things that say oil-free and non-comedogenic. But not all oil-free products are what they're cracked up to be. So one thing you can do is test it out for yourself at home. You could take a piece of stationery that's got about 25% cotton fiber, so like resume paper, and put a drop of your foundation or your lotion on the paper. Let it sit there for 24 hours, and then the next day go back and hold that paper up to the light, and you'll see if there's an oil ring around it. The size of that oil ring will tell you how much oil is in the product, so you can really test for yourself whether it's truly oil-free.
That's a great little tip. Now let's get into some of these fantastic products you brought with you. Now these are products that you've tested and tried out, and they work.
They do work.
Great. I love that the first product you brought is a Dove Beauty Bar.
Yes, and I'm glad you said beauty bar because if you look at Dove, it actually doesn't say the word soap on it anywhere. And the reason is because soap is a technical term. Soaps tend to be more drying, but a beauty bar will actually be pH balanced and have some moisturizer in it. So inexpensive, available everywhere. You can use this every day to wash your face.
Fantastic. So you don't need a fancy face cleanser. Just pick up one of those.
Pick up some Dove day and night.
Fantastic. That's so great. Now what about these hot spot clearing devices? Do these really work?
So Zeno is a new brand that's out. It was out a couple of years ago and they've relaunched it. And it's something that you can put on zits that come up. It uses infrared and heat to help you fight that actual pimple. Sometimes better than putting a spot of benzoyl peroxide because some people have really sensitive skin and it leaves a big dry circle the next morning. So this will actually help you out. It also
really
works on mosquito bites.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
So it's effective. It'll help the blemish go away in a couple of days?
Actually in about 24 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that is great. Now what are these creams here? Do these help get rid of the blemish as well?
They do. They actually have some great ingredients in them. So there's an ingredient in Effaclar Duo. It's got benzoyl peroxide in it, which is fantastic to use for acne of all sorts. And because it's micronized, this is by La Roche-Posay, available in CVS, it's not going to irritate your skin too much.
Oh, good.
So a really
you can
good
use
product.
It year-round.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes the acne, even when the blemish is gone, it leaves a little red scar.
So for the scars, you want to use something very simple, actually. You can use something daily, like this Vichy oil-free lotion, and this one I did put to the test and actually did not have an oil ring on the piece of paper the next morning.
Fantastic.
This product has salicylic acid in it, and you might think it's weird that why would you need moisturizer if you get acne-prone skin, but the reality is that people with acne still need to hydrate their skin. This has salicylic acid in it and will help gradually take away the marks that are left behind.
So you can use it every day?
You can use it every day, and it's also really good for the kind of acne that you only see with side lighting.
So this would replace your moisturizer, or you would also use a moisturizer?
You can use this in place of your moisturizer
Okay.
if you have acne-prone skin.
Fantastic.
And then, of course, you have products that you might need to cover up. So makeup actually has a lot of ingredients that can cause acne. Surprisingly, mineral makeup, you have to look at the ingredients. You want to make sure there's no silicas or micas. There's certain red dyes, number 30 and 36, that can cause acne. And
Do those block your pores? Is that
yes,
how
they do. And there's an ingredient called isopropyl palmitate, which helps makeup go on smoother and gives it a more sheer effect, but that actually clogs your skin.
Ooh, okay.
So a mineral makeup like Dermablend, really good coverage. This is non-comedogenic, that buzzword that we like to look for,
Right.
has been dermatologist tested and gives you really good coverage without causing you to break
Can
out.
you really rely on that buzzword, or do companies sometimes throw it around?
So typically with things that say non-comedogenic, you can rely on that word because that is part of the FDA labeling. But oil-free, obviously, you always want to give it a test.
Gotcha.
And then you can always use a good facial cleanser. This one by Alba has pineapple extract in it, so it'll help you gently exfoliate.
All right, but if you are using the Dove, do you also need to use that occasionally as an exfoliator?
You don't need to, but some people feel like they get dead skin buildup, especially in the winter time, or if they've been outside a lot in the summer, they just want a little bit of refresher. You can use this a couple of days a week.
And finally, Dr. Mariwala, does what we eat have any effect on whether or not we get acne?
So that's actually one of the myths that people always ask me. Is it chocolate? Is it fat? Is it potato chips? No, it doesn't have an effect. But likely, if you're turning to those foods, it's because you're stressed out and not leading the best lifestyle. So in a roundabout way.
The stress does. And I'm sure if you're eating a lot of potato chips and you wipe your chin, you might get some of that
Right.
grease
It's
on your
not
chin.
helping.
Right? Yeah, that's not helping.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mariwala, for all those tips. And to learn more about adult acne, you can log on to the health page at abcnews.com.